Welcome to GLS Carriers Presents Team Talk. I'm Ken Cox, and I have recovered from laying the floor.
You were laying on the floor?
I was laying on the floor.
And how are your knees?
My knees, they're recovering. I still can't get up downstairs as well as I should, but today we've got Francis Ham and Kenny Kuntz, and we are
Drivers for Drivers.
Danny's behind the scenes.
Howdy.
Today we've got a few things to go over. SMS scores, new drivers, clean inspections, anniversaries, birthdays. We're going to talk a little bit about the Carthage Yard, dive into what the industry's doing right now, talk about some safety things, and go from there.
Well, you know Francis is going to end on a safety note.
Absolutely.
Probably should, I guess.
Absolutely. Got to do that.
So, new drivers. I want to say thanks to all you guys that have been applying, been asking all the questions. I dig it. It helps me grow as a person as well. If I don't know the answer, I've got these two gentlemen to go to, and if we don't know the answer, we've got other mentors and people to go to as well. And so keep asking those questions. Todd, Josh, Joseph, Albert, welcome to GLS Carriers.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard, guys.
Let us know how your first trip went out and came back. Let us know how we can improve and what things you need on the road, right? Also remember, like, communication is key. Make sure you're calling in your in and out times, using that OmniTrax to do that. We also had 2 clean inspections, Jeff and Houston. That's some dollars in your pocket.
Great job.
You know, proper pre-trips, making sure the brakes are right, all that good stuff. And they're not in brand new trucks either. You know, they both, I think, got 200,000 miles on them. And so keeping up on that maintenance, you know, gets you those clean inspections, which helps our SMS scores, which I'll dive into in just a minute.
I think that's Jeff's first inspection, too. He was
pretty
happy about that.
Yeah, so Jeff had one inspection as GLS Carriers, and then he went out on his own authority, and then got, like a week later, got another inspection under his authority, passed them both. So that's a really good step in the right direction for Jeff.
Absolutely.
Jeff also has been with us 1 year.
Great.
And Mr. John.
2 years already.
Yeah, he's been here 2 years. You know, he's been running his own authority. He started on our authority, went to his authority. He's got a driver or two that's worked for us, you know, running another truck. So, John, thanks for all that.
Absolutely.
We got birthdays. We got James and Jerry. But happy birthday to you guys.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Kenny's going to start singing for you.
We might later.
Later.
You know what's cool is Jeff has his 1 year, and he's already got his own authority, his own insurance, everything, and trucking. Yeah.
We all do that in-house. I say in-house. It's under the the umbrella, the corporation umbrella. But we all have different departments and whatnot. So if that's something you're considering, whether you work with us or not, you know, you're an outside carrier and you want to think about changing insurance or changing your getting on your own authority, we facilitate all of that. I think we can help with financing too.
We can.
So something to consider. Send me an email, safety@glscarriers.com, and we'll get you pointed out in the right direction. That'll bring us into SMS scores. You guys have been doing awesome out there. We are trending down. Our unsafe was at a 60. It is now a 55. We continue just making little leaps and bounds. I guess baby steps. Trending down. That's your good pre-trips. I mean, your good inspections, clean inspections, by doing your good pre-trips. Crashes went up. We had a couple fender benders. The last few have not been our fault. So, but we still need to make sure that when we're changing lanes, when we're slowing down and whatnot, we need to leave a buffer in front of us. We need to make sure that we're looking in our mirrors, making sure that people aren't in their blind spots. Give them ample time. Use your the stick on the right. Nope, that's the left. Use the stick on the left and use the blinker, right? You use those things. Hours of service stayed the same. Vehicle maintenance stayed the same. So if we continue doing what we're doing, you'll start seeing a lot more green on those pre-passes and moving down the road.
It's so huge. It's so huge. Not only does it, the whole team share in that, and the fact that when we go into a port of entry or someplace and we get that green light and we can keep going, saves everybody a bunch of time and a bunch of hassle. but also our customers. You
Right.
know, our customers are looking at that and they're very happy with what's going on the scores. And then that in turn turns to more business and growing that relationship with our customers, which is really what we want to do.
You guys just toured a customer here recently, right?
Yeah, we went through a facility yesterday, and naturally our safety came up as well, and trailer breakdowns and what we would do in that case. You know, it's a good 2-hour tour and conversation with the big wigs.
2-hour tour.
That's
It came out positive, you know, and that's what we want. The more dedicated customers we have, the more freight we get.
Sure, and that dedicated customers are helping us out a lot right now.
Absolutely. In the market that we're in right now, that relationship that we have, you know, with our customers and the importance of really being on time and everything that we do as far as customer service goes, that's on us. And I think in return, they're still enabling us to run on that business, and it's very much needed right now.
Absolutely. You know, market right now is not doing so hot.
No.
It's hard to pinpoint what the issues are. I mean, there are speculations, there are
Yeah.
reasonings behind that. You know, longer winter. You know, the season's still not cooperating like it would. You know, last year it was 80 degrees out there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this time last year, everybody was barbecuing, going out to picnics, things of that nature, and they were selling a lot more cold cuts and hot dogs and hamburgers and beans and potato chips and all that kind of stuff. And unless you want to go do that in a snowstorm, you're probably not going to be doing it this year because this weather has just not been there for us.
Not at all. So, go ahead.
Well, plus you had all that flooding in California, and you know this year's not going to be so great on produce down there. I think a lot of the sheds down there got flooded out as well, and it's just combination of stuff. You know, when I think of a positive, is we're not the only ones dealing with this.
Right,
It's
industry-wide.
nationwide, you know, and all we can do is keep plugging along and get through it. You know, it will change. You know, the nation needs trucking. They can't operate without trucking, so it will turn. The biggest thing is to spend as little as possible and make as much as you can. Stay lean, especially during these times, you know,
Super
and that's
lean.
what we got to do too as a company, and everyone with us needs to practice that right now as well.
You bet. Right now, I mean, we're working on the rates, you know, everything we do is looking at that, on what we can get. And then the number one priority on spend right now is on vehicle-related repairs, things of that nature that we have to get done and we will get done. But anything other than that, we're just really looking at, you know, where we're spending dollars. And if it's necessary, they're going to get spent. And if not, then they're going to be put on hold for right now. You know, we need to be lean in our operations. And I think our team members understand that, and they're doing the same thing in their businesses as well, you know, that are running with us. And I think, you know, in the long run, we're going to get through this thing, and we'll look back at it at some point in time. But I think right now, with the work that we have in front of us and what we're doing, it's the right thing, and we're going to just continue pushing on through.
One good thing too is we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket. You know, a lot of these trucking companies that are going out, they put all their eggs with one customer that took care of them for years, you know, and now that customer's come back and decided to spread its wings out with a bunch of different companies, you know, and try to get the best rate. And it's left them, I think the last one was 433 trucks that they shut down. That's a lot to find freight for,
That
you know,
hurts.
especially in this market. It's almost impossible for them to do.
Absolutely.
When you're talking lean and putting things off, that's not putting off bald tires. That's not putting
Yeah.
off
Right,
if you
we're-
need an alignment, you know. We're talking lean. We're talking more. If you don't need to buy a new truck right now, you probably shouldn't, you know.
Yeah.
Keep your expenses down as much as possible, and we will get through it. You know, I think they're forecasting another couple months of this?
Yeah, we're looking at another couple months on it. And, to your point about tires and whatnot, it really is. You take and replace a tire in a shop when you're here on national accounts or whatever, get you a tire at the right price and the right labor versus going out on the road and buying one for $750.
Yeah.
So it's a lot cheaper to get it done on time, and same thing with pre-trip and post-trips. Really doing them right now and paying attention to it and catching those things to where we can get them fixed before it's a breakdown. You got to get a wrecker or something involved. Then you got a whole nother set of expenses. So I think it all plays together. It's time to really tighten up our process and make sure we're doing the best that we can on everything we do to prevent future expense down the road.
We're talking industry too, and we were talking before this about how COVID, people weren't going out to eat. They were eating from home, and they weren't having company over, so they were buying 2 steaks instead of 10,
Right.
So a lot of that stuff's been in cold storage, and they got to get through all that as well before they start shipping anything new. And, so all that adds to what's going on in the market right now.
Danny, I'm going to need you to start buying a lot more steaks
And eating them, Danny.
and eating them.
Oh man, I'm glad it's steaks and Danny, you need to eat more vegetables.
Tofu on its way.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad that there's toilet paper now.
Yeah.
Very much.
That was really weird. Like a shortage. I'm talking not your comment, but a shortage of toilet paper. Like that's how it starts, right? Like that's just weird.
They were talking people hoarding toilet paper, and I'm like, well, where are you going to store it? Have you seen them packages of toilet paper? My house ain't big enough. I don't have a spare room to pile toilet paper in.
That's right.
I guess I shouldn't say toilet paper, bathroom tissue.
Bathroom tissue.
Yeah, tissue's,
We can edit that, right?
tissue's
Dan?
not strong enough to. Toilet paper sounds a lot better.
So, had a job fair.
We did. We did. We got the opportunity to spend some time down there. Jake, Dan, Tommy, one of the drivers over at our sister company, he joined us, and it was just a great pleasure, not only spending time with our team that was down there. We got to get into some good conversations, and Tommy brought in a bunch of valid points, and it was good spending time with him and seeing from the driver's perspective. So we got to talk to him a little bit about the management perspective and what's going on, and it was great. I think we had a total of 13 people that we're looking at candidates, so I think that was great. Spending 3 days down in the community down there. We lived in the community while we were there, so talking to people, there's just some awesome people down there. We went out to eat. There's a little tiny restaurant in Joplin that we went to, and the chef there was actually a mess hall cook in the service.
Oh, fantastic.
And then he went from that into opening his own restaurant, and the menu looked great, and we thought, you know what, well, let's go for it. So we had dinner there, and one of our brokerage offices, they joined us. 2 of their people joined us, and we were able to just mingle with them for a while and see what kind of synergies we could come up with working with them and helping our trucks rolling too. But the meal that was cooked for us was absolutely fantastic. It was probably one of the better meals that I've had out on the road. It tasted like somebody was really spending hours and hours in that kitchen, which I'm sure he did, to deliver a meal like that. So it's not very often you go out to a restaurant and you get something to eat and you're real proud to eat it. You know what I mean? 'Cause it was good. But no, that was great. Good event. That brings us right up to the Carthage Yard. And the Carthage Yard is moving right along. They've got the pad already in for the building, which will be phase 2 of the process. So right now they're moving some more of the hill. They've cut the hill, and a lot of that clay soil is being taken down and packed onto the lower grade. Hopefully by the end of this week, they're going to be digging out the retention pond. That won't take them long with all that heavy equipment they've got in there. So they're going to get that up and build a berm around that. and then we should have everything compacted and going in with aggregate. So right after that, we're talking dolly pads, some concrete work done around there. And then in that lower elevation around that retention pond area, we're hoping to be able to put in some grass and some walkways and some trees and whatnot. So our drivers that are going down there and visiting that facility or in that facility, if you got a dog or something with you and you want to get them out of the vehicle, it'll be a nice, safe place to get them out and walk them around, get some exercise on them and stuff. I think it'll be real nice once we get that done.
You gonna put some doggy bags in there too?
Yeah, we will. And a trash can.
You were talking about Tommy being down there. He's been with the sister company too for I think 30 years now.
Been there for a while.
And how he had to go get a load, and you guys had to catch a flight. And you were telling him, you could go ahead and go, Tommy. And he goes, are you trying to get rid of me?
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
actually enjoying this.
Yeah. It sure was a pleasure. That was the first time that I've ever met Tommy. I've heard his name, but I've never got face-to-face to meet him. And having him there was truly a pleasure. I would say that was probably one of the highlights of the entire job fair, was just being able to sit there and talk with him. And his input and what he said, goes a long ways. Taking what he said and bringing it back and looking how we can implement some of that stuff in our own business. But really a pleasure.
If he can handle us for 30 years, then you can too.
That's right.
The job fair did bring in some phone calls and some questions. I have been talking with potential drivers. We've had, like I said, we've got some new ones that have come on. Next week I'm looking at a few more. We still could use, more drivers and to fill some more trucks. So remember the sign-on bonus, the referral bonus. Come on, ask the questions and come on down.
For sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
Danny, what am I missing?
I just really want to know what Francis ordered. Maybe it's because we were talking about meat. But yeah, what did you order when you went there?
So I ordered a seafood linguine, and it had mussels in there. It had scallops in there, and a little bit of lobster meat in there as well. And it was all tossed in a butter garlic sauce on linguine. I'm hungry now. I'm just
I'm
talking
so
about it. I want some more. But
Is it lunchtime?
yeah, that's it.
my
That's
mouth is
it.
watering.
And they made a Caesar salad, and the guy made his own Caesar dressing, and it was like nothing that you can get in a can or a bottle. It was fresh, and it was just superb. It was a great meal.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting from a mess. When I think mess hall cook, I think like
Ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
something
they
in a
got
paste.
seafood in Springfield.
No, but he sure had it. And he did it justice.
Well, I'm gonna visit.
Yeah, that's right.
You got anything else?
Oh, I'm sure Francis has a safety deal he wants to cover.
I do.
Hey, Francis.
So, safety topic for this week, and I think everybody can kind of relate, and then I want to talk about the importance to it. Warmer weather's coming. A lot of our drivers, when they get up in the morning, whatever, they're not putting steel-toed boots on. And I know a lot of times people wear their house shoes, in the truck, and I've even seen some flip-flops and stuff in the truck. And I want to talk about the importance of the proper footwear to have on when you're working around the truck and when you're driving. Flip-flops, hey, if you want to get out of the truck and you want to go for a walk or something, you want to put some flip-flops on, that's probably okay, But if you're working around the truck and actually twisting or whatever, or on the deck plate or something like that, wear the proper footwear. Make sure your ankles and stuff are supported so you don't twist there. And then while driving down the road, make sure you have the appropriate footwear. Nothing worse than getting your flip-flop or something hung up in a floor mat and get yourself into a big bind. So just make sure you're wearing the correct footwear for what you're doing. And if you're going into any customer location, make sure you got the right footwear on there. You don't want to go into a grocery warehouse receiver with flip-flops or something like that on. Make sure you got some steel toes or whatever's required.
I've actually seen a guy fall with flip-flops coming out of his truck and not doing the what do they call that, 3-point stance to get in your
3 points of
your
contact.
truck, and he's flip flop come out of his toes and down he went.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
So let's be careful coming in and out of your trucks.
Yeah, yeah. And one other thing I want to throw out there, thank you. I want to thank our people, and I mean everybody. Everybody that's in the office, they're doing everything they can right now. All of our drivers that are out there moving freight for us, thank you for what you're doing. It really does make a huge difference, not only in our operation and in our company, but to our customers as well. And our customers, they realize that. They see that, and they're talking to us about that. I know you may not hear it directly from them. We do have the opportunity to hear that from them, and they very, very much appreciate everything that our drivers are doing and our team is doing. The one thing, if I can point out one thing that we really need to improve on, and that would be the communication. When we get a load, when we're tendered a load, and it comes over to us, we want to take that load and haul that for our customer. On their side, they get pressure too. I mean, when they're getting a load and we're shipping it from the Midwest to the Northwest, they need to know where that load is at in transit. Their customer on the other side is asking them, hey, where's my product? And if we don't have that answer, it makes it real tough for them to be able to answer. So anything that we can do as far as communication wise and tracking, we have to do that, because our customer has a customer too, so it's just relaying that information on. So anything that can be done, we definitely need it.
To add to that, I know it's frustrating to have a track and trace calling at 1-2 in the morning when you drove till midnight. A lot of these companies anymore, they've hired what they call track and trace. So the customer gets the tracking information, not track and trace. Some of these people are overseas, and they come in at 1 o'clock in the morning, they start down the list just calling people, Sometimes easier to just put do not disturb on your phone, when you're going to bed for 10 hours, and is the easiest way, and we'll deal with it in the morning, when we get in. They're updated twice a day by the dispatch team as well. As long as that tracking's going, that's the main point. You don't need to take calls at 1-2 in the morning from a broker.
Right. And that's industry wide, right? Like everybody's on track.
Yeah, that's the new thing. When these guys go out and get business, just like when we do, our system ties with theirs. They can see where their load is at all times, because they got people to answer to too, their customers. And so it's nationwide. When they go out and sell themselves, they'll tell them that your load will be tracked from beginning to end,
Yep.
So that's just how it goes now.
Yep, no, for sure.
Danny?
Well, we talked about flip-flops. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on thongs. Or we could just end
As long
the
as
show.
you're wearing pants down here, I think we'll be okay. Isn't that the same thing?
I just had a visual.
That's probably a good place to end it.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we end this episode, we want to thank you for being safe, making the right choices. Remember, you are our eyes and ears on the road. If you see something, say something. We all succeed when you complete your trip safely and you're home with your loved ones.
With the right size thong.
Thank you.
See ya.